Like,
And like, if I'm gonna
hello.
have an ex who I meet up with and talk to sometimes, we're gonna talk about the new Charlie XCX album.
I think about it all the time. Can we ask them if they listen to the new Charlie album?
Yeah.
Cool. I think about it all the time.
They'll like be really fucked up when they get on the phone.
No.
No,
think
like I'm gonna like in like a funny way where I'm just like, I don't even have the capacity to care about anything right now.
Yeah, I like can feel that. I've been meaning to tell you this for a while now, but I like can see that like in you more and more. Where I like feel you like you just like don't care about like you know what I mean? Like you
Like
just
what
like say anything now, which like you always have, but like it's in like a crazy way recently.
I, lots of hands, creative Ugly Man Fun Plan, hereby request Joshua Ovalle for collaboration on the Internet is Dead podcast. Please, Josh, be a guest on the podcast. We miss you.
Do you have an example?
Like you just don't have the capacity to care.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened to me.
I think that the like thing in your brain to like filter things out is like completely gone. Like I think it was always kind of like not like totally there, but I think like recently it's like
I'm gonna tell them that when they join, and then I'm gonna say, so do you guys think you're soft boys?
I'm gonna ask them to show me their or to show me his teen suicide
Teen
tattoo.
suicide tattoo? Can you say teen suicide tattoo 3 times fast? Teen suicide tattoo. Teen suicide
tattoo.
I think about it all the time. You wait for the video to pop up on the screen, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's like they can't hear us right now because they're
I
connected.
know, and
They
it's
can
like
hear
they
us
just
now.
know.
Hey guys,
Hey.
Hi.
hold up. Let me just figure out how to use this. Audio.
It's like we can hear your accent, you know? Sorry, I don't know.
I've never used Zoom. This
Oh,
shit's
really?
confusing,
Whoa,
man.
really?
Before you got on this call, Samira was like telling me about how the thing in my head that like she's been noticing that the thing in my head that like keeps me from saying things like is
like
gone.
the filter in your head.
I don't think I've got no filter, man. So
You don't think you have a
Yeah.
filter, you said?
I just think as in you think you could just say whatever.
Yeah, like I was like,
Yeah.
ooh, when like they get on, should I ask if like they're soft boys?
What the fuck? What does that mean, man?
You don't know what a
You know
soft
what
boy
a
is?
soft boy is? Whoa.
What is a soft? Is that an American thing?
I guess
Is it? I don't know. It
that's
might be.
crazy if it is.
I
It's
feel
like
it's not. I feel like it's
let me
'cause
look up the definition.
I
Let
feel
me
like
tell
it's
you.
worldwide.
It hasn't reached
I
me
think
yet.
it's
Hasn't reached
worldwide.
Newcastle yet.
I think it's going
You
international.
know about Alex G. You should know about soft boys.
I know
True.
about Alex G.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. I'll tell you the Urban Dictionary definition.
Cool.
A male typically wearing an oversized sweater and described as cute, generally has a very soft personality, in parentheses, gentle and kind.
All right, okay. I didn't really need a definition for that then.
But you said
Yeah,
you didn't know what it meant.
Yeah, cool.
Well, anyways, thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Internet is Dead podcast, also known as the Joshua Valle. Please be a guest on my podcast. My name is Samira, and I'm joined with my co-host Brittany, and today we're talking to the band Lots of Hands. Woo.
Hello.
Yeah, Lots of Hands is like an UK-based band in Newcastle. They make kind of like DIY, ambient, lo-fi influenced music.
God, it's like you say the word lo-fi and then like the whole crowd's like
yeah, but thank you for coming on. Brittany and I are excited to talk to you because we both like really love your music a lot.
Thank you so much for having me. I was like so excited just to talk. I had a dream that I came on this and you guys were asking me like way too personal questions, like what school did I go to?
Low-key, I feel like you felt our energy from afar because like we do.
That's kind of
freaking out, man.
Really?
You were asking like if I had a PO box and shit. I was freaking out, man.
Whoa.
What? Okay, that's such like also an interesting thing because PO boxes like the thing like that is linked in my brain to like the word PO box is like when YouTubers used to be like, if you want to send me fan mail, like you can like send it to my PO box.
I used to send like every YouTuber I watched like stuff from their PO box, and they never showed mine off in the videos, man.
Who did you send
Really?
stuff to?
Smosh,
Oh.
Cavetown.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, Cavetown. Aw.
Who else? Just everyone that I watched.
I
Aw.
tried to send I sent like fan mail to like Lohanthony. I don't know if you know who that is.
I feel like I vaguely remember him. Did he like join the army?
He like went to conversion camp, so maybe that's what you're thinking of.
Kind of the
Yeah,
same
he
thing.
became
Kind of the
became
same
like really
thing.
religious.
Yeah. No, yeah. I think you're thinking of the right
Yeah.
person. Loki was like James Charles before James Charles was James Charles, if you really think
True.
about it. Coming on. Also, I did want to say, like, I'm like also just excited to talk because I was listening to like Asking Star. Like, I think it was like one of my top 5 songs on Spotify last year. So it's like cool to like just like talk about how you guys have like made like your music. Are you like like I read in like your interview that you did with I don't know if you've done other recent ones because I was like looking up your interviews and I only found one with KCR College. Um
Oh yeah, they were
y-
so sweet. They were so
yeah,
sweet.
and that we were like me and Samira were looking at it because we were doing research and then we were like, oh, like it's a teen suicide tattoo.
Holy shit, I've got no idea how she knew that as well, man. That's when I had like no photos of myself on my Instagram.
I like wanted to actually ask you about that because that's just so funny because like it's weird because like that's like just like a Philly guy to us. You know what I mean?
Well, what's his name? Sam Ray.
Yeah, Sam Ray.
Yeah.
Same with like Alex G because I saw you were like mentioning him too, and it was just funny because I'm like, I mean, obviously like all these bands are very like global, I guess, but like I never think of like teen suicide as being like global, I guess. I don't know. Like how did you like start listening to them?
Oh, he's huge here, man. He's like absolutely huge.
Whoa, that's crazy.
That's
I
Um,
didn't know
cool.
that.
I was in like a group chat like back in the day, like with just loads of other people on SoundCloud, and we all just used to send like little links to songs.
Mm.
Aw.
I've actually lived with like someone from that group chat for the past year.
Oh, wait, so was that like
Whoa.
initially an internet friend?
Yeah, but I thought she was American for the longest time, and then she mentioned that she lived in Leeds. So I was like, holy shit, I'm going to Leeds, man.
Oh, wait, that's
Whoa.
really cool. Did you like, is she like the person who kind of like drew you to moving to Leeds?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, because there's not like a whole lot else going on in Leeds.
Mm.
Um, it's got a very good like music scene, but only if you like bands.
Mm. So
Yeah.
were you like involved in um I don't know, like more like just like online communities like that? Like when you were younger, like what age was that you like made
Yeah,
those kind of
definitely
like
like proper young, man.
connections?
I mean, maybe like too young. Um, just like through SoundCloud and Facebook. Just like that's how I have like most of the friends that I do now.
Mm. That's crazy. Facebook. You like made internet friends on Facebook. That's like insane.
Yeah. Facebook and SoundCloud, I feel like, because those are both like just kind of
I
like funny platforms. They're like cool platforms to like make friends on, I feel like.
Yeah,
yeah.
then neither of them are platforms that I really use anymore, but they definitely hold like a little special place in my heart. Have you
Mm.
been
Oh,
on Facebook in the past like half a year?
No.
I haven't.
I went on it um like just to see what my mom had been posting, and it's like all just like not real photos. Like it's all what's it? AI. It's like
Yeah.
commenting like acting like it's real. Maybe it's all just run by AI.
It's weird too because like if that's kind of where you made a lot of like genuine connections when you were younger to like go back and see it like so
It's
overtaken by
creepy, man.
something
Yeah, it's
else. Yeah.
dystopian as hell.
Yeah.
How old were you when you were like online in that way?
I think I made friends with Nicole when I was probably about 13 or 14.
And how old are
Uh,
you now?
I'm 21.
Okay, cool.
Whoa. Is that the person you're living with now?
She was the person who I was living with last year. She makes music under Mage Tears.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I've just moved back up to Newcastle, living with my guitarist at the minute.
Okay,
He
cool.
was supposed to be coming on, but he's like just like asleep on the sofa right now.
Oh, so in that, like, where kind of did the like when did you start making music in like contrast to when you were just kind of like online as like a fan of like music and like making friends through like SoundCloud and stuff like that? Because that's like such a cool thing. I didn't know that that's kind of like where things like started for you, I guess, if you could even say that's where it started.
Yeah, it's I think I probably started making music when I was about 14, maybe 15.
Mm.
Um, and I kind of just did it because it was really fun to try and recreate what all of my friends were doing and kind of bounce off what they were doing.
Mm.
I mean, like where I lived, there wasn't a lot of people making that kind of music, so like um, it was very much a case of just like going home and sending over ideas with all my friends.
So you kind of went from like just like being in like online sort of communities to like making music yourself on SoundCloud to then like kind of putting out like music on like a grander scale. So I'm kind of curious about how that like transition, like when that happened, how that felt. Like, I mean, like just like seeing like all of like your discography on like Spotify and everything, I feel like is so different from just like, oh, like I'm just like making SoundCloud music, you know? So I'm curious, like, if that felt like a major shift to you.
Definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
even in terms of now, when I'm making a record, I feel like I'm making an actual record. But
Mm,
back in the day, it was more just kind of I'd make these songs throughout the year and I would drop them like when I finished them, and then at the end of the year, I would collate them into a little project and put a cover on it.
mm,
Um, it's definitely like a different approach to it, and I think that's just how SoundCloud's like set out. Um, like if you put like a project on there, it'll just get like no views. But if you put just like a little thing, people find it.
You mean like on like in comparison like on Spotify or
Yeah, well, that was the case a while ago.
mm.
Um, whereas Spotify, I feel like you do need like project after project.
Like, when did you meet? Like, is it Elliot? Is that your guitarist?
Well, I met him like 2019, so like just before lockdown, um, and just kind of started like gigging with him immediately. But
Mm.
it's been like a slow process of getting him more involved, especially with like songwriting, just because it was like COVID, but like sick of talking about COVID, man. But it was just like, yeah, it was very difficult for us because he didn't have any recording equipment, and I was like still
Mm.
very new to songwriting. It was
Mm.
difficult to
Is he the
kind of
same age
bounce.
as you?
Yeah,
So I'm curious how COVID, like, do you feel like that's still kind of impacting you mentally? Because I am always really curious because we're both 23. So, like, I feel like there was such like a different like thing for people who were like, because I don't really know how like schooling works as much like in the UK, but I know it's like different. But at least for us, like, if you were here, you would have still been in like high school during that.
yeah. Well, I was in the UK, you have to be in education until you're 18, but you can do like a BTEC course, which is just like a shit college course where you like specialize in something for 2 years. So we did like music performance,
Mm.
and like all I had to do was go in and play my guitar. So when COVID hit, it was just like I did absolutely nothing for
How do you feel
um,
like that like education translated to like lots of hands?
probably like not in a lot of ways. It was like I wasn't there at all, man.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think there is like something up with the way we have to stay in education until we're 18 here.
Mm,
I mean, in my head anyway, it makes more sense to just stay in school. Um, but here, like, you do school until you're 16, and then you have to like apply for like A levels, which is like another 2 years of high school. Um, but then I applied for sixth form and I didn't get in because my grades were like absolutely terrible.
mm,
So you just have to do one of these like really terrible BTEC courses, but and no one enjoyed it on the course. No one wanted to be there.
mm.
Um, yeah, Elliot didn't even pass it. Bless him.
I'm always like curious what people like I don't know, just like think about like their experience in school, because I like it's like really cool that like the creative stuff that you've done is like very like separate from that, and almost like something that like you didn't need to go to school for, even though like I'm sure it was somewhat like valuable. Like I'm just like curious how like what you think about that.
I went to like university to study art, and I found like meeting with creative people, even if they weren't musicians, that was definitely like way more helpful than going into like a college and playing guitar every day. Like I felt
Mm.
like the past couple of years of just like meeting like illustrators and painters and just like really queer people that I'd never really met before. But it definitely gets you in a place where you're surrounded by people that you relate to and you feel like connected with.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think that like kind of helped my uh like how I was writing, because before that I was just writing like what I wanted myself to hear, but now I'm like kind of know what's going on a bit more and what people like about my
Mm.
music.
Do you feel like you're in like a space now where like you have like a good community of people around you like,
Yeah,
through like
amazing, amazing.
yeah.
I mean, I was living with Majdias obviously for a year, and um, her boyfriend from Texas like flew over and lived with us, and it was just like had this chain reaction of meeting this amazing like circle of musicians.
I mean, I think like just being around other motivated people about like arts and stuff is like the most inspiring thing ever.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
it's even if it's someone who cares about like the dresses that they make or the illustrations that they make, or like if they host like a zine club or an open mic or something, it's just like seeing like really passionate people who get
Mm.
like how passionate you are about what you do. It's like so inspiring.
Sometimes I feel like it's more of like just like someone like almost like translating like feelings of like love over to you, and then like you can like love the thing that you're doing.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It was just an energy. It definitely was just an energy.
Mm.
Um,
Like we've had that experience so much with like just like going to like open mics or like shows or stuff or just meeting people and it like just feeling really, really inspiring and like walking away from it and like wanting to just like do something crazy like because of it, I feel like. And it's
yeah,
also
for
so
real.
interesting how it's like that like a chain reaction, like what you said. Like I feel like you meet like one person and then like everything kind of like falls into place and then you like meet like all these other people through them and then it's just like a really cool like domino effect that happens.
Mm.
Yeah, man, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, life works in like crazy ways. Speaking of open mics, when I was in Leeds, I had my own Bill's open mic, and that was how I met like loads of creative people.
Oh, that's so
It was an
Whoa.
cool.
open
Yeah.
mic slash karaoke, and it was a mix of like art students and like real geezers, like red-faced, steaming geezers that would come in. I think just that feeling of being there like has really stuck with me.
Mm.
In a sense of like feeling inspired, and feeling like the people that like fuck with my shit, man, are like real.
I'm curious to know just like how like just like what like the DIY and like music scene looks like in like Newcastle and just like ice like where you are because I'm always like 'cause I feel like Brittany and I were so curious like whenever we travel to like go on like Reddit and like see where there's like shows and stuff and like we were just in New Orleans and we were like looking up like where there were shows
We
and
found
like
the weirdest
going.
DIY show
It
in New
was like
Orleans. The
so it
people
was
there were
really funny.
crazy.
But they were like talking to us about like Alex G like outside
No,
and
yeah,
like
they were like, tag about you're from Philly. And that's like also such a funny thing because like there's so many Philly people in places like who like just know of Philly people, but they're just like these guys who we know. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah,
so
that's
weird.
and I
crazy,
feel like
man.
it's yeah, because like I feel like the Philly music's like we got like really lucky. I feel like just like with like the art scene like in Philly because it's like really, really like there's just like so many talented people that we like know, I feel like, and it's just like a very like nice community. But yeah, I'm like curious to know what it's like in like Newcastle.
It's terrible, man.
Oh.
Genuinely, it's awful. um yeah, big up Philly. Just everything good seems to be happening there, man.
What do you mean it's
Like
terrible? Like,
yeah,
I
like
mean, like, do you feel like you've kind of been successful there or?
To an extent. I mean, a lot of like a large majority of my listeners are in like New York and LA and Philadelphia. But I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
it's
people in Philly who I've talked to like love you.
Yeah.
fuck yeah, man. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, there's loads of like creative people in Newcastle, but just as for like a DIY music scene, it's like just not there yet. But
Well, I know there's like, isn't there like a really good scene in like London?
yeah, yeah, we always have a good time when we play in London.
Mm,
But it's like an 8-hour drive from here.
okay, gotcha.
Um,
It's
yeah,
always like a city, I think. Like that's like it's so easy to find in like a big city.
yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, it's probably just because it's the capital and you've got so many different people going in. But yeah, London's got a great scene. I met like some amazing bands when I went down and played there.
Mm.
Um, it'll hopefully make its way up to Newcastle eventually.
I
Being
w- I
alive
saw
and
that like you guys mentioned also like wanting like in that interview that I was talking about that you mentioned like wanting to get out because like the scene was kind of like eh. Saw that you guys mentioned like Philly. Like would you ever like move to well or just like anywhere in like America, do you think?
I would definitely move to Philly. I was
Dude,
speaking to
move here,
You
Ravi.
come
should
hang
come.
out.
Yeah.
I'm down, bro. I'm down. I want one of those sandwiches.
Oh. Are you the Philly
The
cheesesteak?
cheesesteak. Yeah.
Yeah, man, I'd break
Oh
my
man.
vegetarian streak to have one of them.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what
are you
everyone
vegetarian?
loves to say.
Yeah, I've been vegetarian for like 10 years, but I want to
Oh,
do
cool.
maybe in like a year, just do 1 month where I eat like every meat that I haven't had. I want to have crab. I want to have lobster. I want to
Philly
have
cheesesteak.
Philly
True.
cheesesteak. Um, oysters. Eating an oyster
I
I
haven't eaten
have.
an oyster.
in your
I don't
life.
like it that much. It tastes like just like the ocean. But apparently that's why people like it. So see, I think
Really?
I just don't get it, you know?
Yeah, I think people are lying to themselves when they eat shit like that, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think people are lying to themselves a lot of the time.
Have you
I
had
was just
a
gonna say that.
snail?
Never had a snail.
They eat them in like Paris, don't they?
I
I
don't
They
think
make
know.
like
so.
Do they?
oh,
I think so.
is that a
Like
stereo? Is that like
escargot?
a really I hope that's not like a really horrible stereotype. I
It
remember my
probably
dad
isn't. I
saying,
mean,
No, I think
so
that
you living in like Newcastle, do you travel a lot to like throughout Europe?
No, I never like got around to it. I recently went to Sweden.
Ooh.
It was amazing. Everyone was like so nice. Like I didn't realize people could just be that friendly.
oh,
Aw.
I've heard that about like Sweden. I feel like Sweden, I'm trying to think of it like Switzerland. I've heard people are really nice and like
Samira, we should
Norway.
move there.
True. I the psychic did say that I was gonna live in Denmark. So
Oh yeah, I really want to go Copenhagen.
yeah, she said I was gonna study at like a university in Denmark. So maybe Copenhagen.
Maybe friend meetup.
Maybe. Just throwing it out there. Have you ever been to a psychic?
That was on our list of questions.
Yeah.
Was it?
We
Yeah.
got there in a crazy way.
I know. It's like that was a good segue. I'm proud of myself.
That was
for
such a good segue.
Thanks.
No, I haven't. Sorry.
Oh,
Oh,
you
okay.
should.
Like your music feels like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like yeah, maybe I should go see one. That sounds like a really good idea.
I do want to ask like about like the process that you go through kind of with making like specifically with fantasy the album but also like I am super curious about Asking Star because I love that song so much and it's so beautiful and I'm curious about like what comes first and like I don't know like what like drives you towards making stuff.
Asking Star was like the first one that me and Elliot did, like proper 50-50. So it's that geezer on vocals and then uh just like kind of bouncing sounds and ideas off each other. But I think in general, just with the place that we were, like most of that record just kind of feels like moving forward. A lot of the kind of analogies and just like general sentiments are just like moving forward and trying to start something new and trying to get out of where we are.
Does that like just apply to your life in the sense of feeling like kind of stuck where you are or like is there anything else that it plays
Definitely. I
into.
mean, we had a crazy couple years, man, and like when we came out of it, we wrote Penny, where it was like Elliot gave me the analogy of like throwing pennies into a fucking fountain and trying to get lucky or some shit. And it was just like just kind of carried through, and yeah, like as we were moving forward and just kind of like writing shit, even if it didn't kind of make sense to us. At the minute, it definitely kind of fell into place in a really nice way.
Do you mean like a crazy couple of years, like because of COVID or like other stuff, like just in
Uh,
general, or?
just in general, man. I mean, um, yeah, it was a busy couple of years, sure.
What do you feel like if there's something like you're moving away from, like what is it that you want to like be moving towards?
When yeah, good question. When I
Hey,
started
thank
the
you.
record, I was like just kind of moving through, like generally just stages of grief, and I think like writing, like creating analogies out of that shit was like really therapeutic in a way. So it was kind of just like moving forward mentally and spiritually and getting myself to a place where I feel like I could write about other stuff, if that makes sense.
What do you feel like had you like so like stuck in like one like thing or like one like stage of like grief like what do you think was keeping you
It
there?
was yeah, it was a strange year, and I lost someone who meant quite a lot to the music that me and Elliot made. So
Mm.
it was definitely like a challenge for us both to kind of bounce back from that. Um, yeah, it was really good, the reception we had on that album, and like some of the things that people say about it just like absolutely warm my heart in that way, because it's like some people just get it, man. Some people just get it.
I'm curious, like, because you said the thing about the analogy of like throwing pennies into like a fountain and stuff. Which is also funny because that's like one of my things where like I like if we're like passing by a fountain, like I have to throw a penny in or else I'll like I just like have to or else I'll like freak out. But I'm like curious to know, like, do you feel like are you like spiritual at all or like
I was gonna ask the
superstitious
same
or
thing. You said the word spiritual and I said, are you spiritual? Tell me about that.
um I think I am and I'm not. I think I
Mhm.
don't think like I don't not that I don't like to think that I am, but I don't like bother to think of myself as a spiritual person. But I think in just like creating music in general, and like making yourself think about things in different ways, it definitely makes you more in tune with yourself, and
Mhm.
like your awareness of like where you are spiritually, who you are as a person, definitely.
I feel like it's interesting because I feel like just creating music or like creating art in general is inherently just like a very like spiritual thing. Like you're just like entering this different like state of being almost. But I think it's like funny because I feel like the word like spirituality and like being spiritual has like such like an interesting like connotation to it, which like I don't like I don't know. It's like a weird connotation, I feel like, of like I don't know. And it's also just
There's a
been like
lot behind that word for some like
yeah.
yeah.
And it's been like taken like in a lot of different ways, I think, like just like over the years and like different cultures like look at it differently. And it's just like interesting, I think.
Definitely. um and yeah, it's interesting to kind of mention that like thought of like escapism, especially through music, as like
Mm.
a way to be more in tune with like your like spiritual awareness. I think like without realizing, it's just like something that everyone does in a certain way.
Yeah,
Bless you.
I do think that like thank you
Yeah.
that like music or any kind of like creative thing is kind of like energy work in a certain way, and I guess that just kind of depends on how you like view spirituality and what you how you describe all the things that like you're experiencing as a human being. Um, but that's it's like a really cool thing because everyone like almost like no matter who you're talking to, when like someone's kind of good at what they do, it normally means like they're kind of in tune with themselves somewhat or able to like express themselves in a way that just feels right, even if it's not direct. Thinking about how it's like funny that we all, I was gonna say, we all just like come to the same conclusion, and like no matter who you're talking to about their art, like I feel like it always has so much to do with like some sort of spiritual element. And it's funny, like hearing the different words people put on it to describe spirituality or to describe that process.
Yeah, that was a long statement.
Yeah, sorry. It's like I forgot it halfway through, but then I remembered it.
Yeah. No, well, I think it's also just like I don't know, because I think anyone who like makes art or like makes music is also just like doing it because they genuinely love it. Almost like sends this like energy through you of just like love.
Hmm.
And then I feel like people hear that when they like listen to music.
For sure, for sure. There's always like something pretty crazy about DIY music. Just because everyone's like so like cryptic and it's like very hard to get to know the person behind who's making it. And I've always found it quite interesting that you can still get that even if like one, you don't know anything about them, and like two, they're very like obviously not talking from their own experience and like kind of creating characters in a way and like kind of show you who they are without revealing anything. I just thought that was interesting.
Do you have anyone like in mind specific who you've seen do that, who's kind of inspired you to do the same thing?
Well, yeah, I think I've always just bounced off like the people who make the same kind of shit as me. Like Milena Cole, Teeth, Dead Sullivan, Chrisman. They're all just like they're all there on my Spotify page, but you can't find anything about them. And even when you do speak to them, they're like just like cryptic, man. It's like talking to little wizards. But yeah, I've always definitely admired the fact that their music's like feels like they're that like they just know.
I know you like obviously like the like teen suicide was like a big one, but were there any other like influences or like just like people you like grew up listening to that you really like that have inspired you?
And can we circle back to the teen suicide tattoo? Because
We can if you want.
because when did you get it? And can we see?
I got that on my 18th birthday. It's like the DC Snuff album cover.
Oh, that's really cool. I
Oh,
like
whoa,
that a
yeah,
lot.
that is
Cheers,
cool.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got
Sorry, I
that
just had to.
I got that on
Yeah.
my 18th birthday party.
Whoa.
Like the same day that all of my friends got me like records of Alex G and Teen Suicide for my birthday.
Aw.
Aw. That
Is
sounds like
that
an
who you like
awesome
grew up
birthday.
listening to mostly?
Definitely. Or just like shit that Nicole would show me or repost on her SoundCloud. I got very lucky because I went from like 21 Pilots and Cavetown to like Dead Sullivan and Teen Suicide and Mick Mole in like a couple months just through like speaking to people and being like, holy shit, my music taste is like trash. Not the same Cavetown's trash. He's awesome.
Yeah. Well, word of mouth is like a crazy, crazy thing. And also like because we went through kind of like the same thing where we like met a bunch of people in college and they like had such like a big influence on like the music we listened to and like showed us so much of it. And that's like it's like such like a really pretty thing because that music is almost like from them, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like the more my music kind of grows, not like in size but in sound, like the more I owe it to like the friends and like other musicians and internet friends that I've been friends with that like got me on that shit, because I could be rapping like what's his name, Tyler Joseph right now.
I'm so curious about what that pipeline of 21 Pilots to like and like Cavetown, because I also like for me my pipeline was like Okay, Fifth Harmony and Ariana Grande. And then I like kind of got into like Cavetown and like adjacent like indie people who are like indie pop like. And then I found like, okay, here's the third layer, and like this is probably like where I am, like, or like a little bit deeper of like just like DIY and like like Radiohead. So I'm curious what that like looked like and how you found that. Like, I know you said like word of mouth, but also like I want to know what made you listen to 21 Pilots as a
I don't
kid.
know. I don't know what the hell possessed me, man.
I feel like everyone listened. Like it was like such a big like thing.
It was a
like
thing.
in that
It was
time.
just a
like,
high school thing.
yeah, but it was like
Yeah.
kind of like the cool thing, like all,
Yeah.
like it was like kind of like the indie like thing.
No, Loki was the indie of high school
Yeah.
if you think about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Because like people didn't know like about like they were like, oh, there's pop music and like stuff on the radio unless you have cool parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, the worst part about mine is that I had like the coolest parents in the world. Like my dad used to play like Spaceman 3 and My Bloody Valentine.
Yeah,
So
see,
you had like
cheated
no
at the game.
excuse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had no excuse to be listening to that shit.
No, yeah, whenever, but also I think it's like weird because as a kid, when my parents would try and put on like they didn't really have like crazy good music taste, but sometimes like my mom would like try to play like Neil Young or something, and like my taste buds just weren't like like to that level. You know what I mean? Like I feel
remember,
like as a
like-
kid, when you're hearing pop all the time, like because that's kind of what you're fed as a child and like aware of like from watching like Disney Channel, like it's just interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I remember my mum putting on Burn the Witch by Radiohead when that shit first came out, and I was like begging her to turn it off. And then I went up and listened to some 21 Pilots.
Well, also I remember there being like such like an aura around like when I like had such like a music snobbiness to me when I was listening to Fifth Harmony. Like I was like, Fifth Harmony is superior, like genuinely, like making better music than anyone in the game.
I gotta be honest and say I don't know who Fifth Harmony is.
Oh my god, you gotta look them up. They were on X Factor. They were like the girl group that came after One Direction. Also, what do you think about One Direction since you're
Yeah.
Amazing.
I was a big directioner, so
My guitarist Elliot in the other room, he like used to like wait overnight and like queue to get all the records and shit.
yes.
Stop.
Oh, I loved them so much.
And
I
went to
miss
the
them.
concerts with like Heart 1D on his cheeks.
Aw.
Stop.
Oh, I
Oh my
miss
God.
them.
Who the hell are they, man?
They're like,
Oh.
yeah. You know about Little Mix?
I know Little Mix.
See,
Yeah, they're like
their
the
Little Mix is the superior one.
No, that was like such a thing on Twitter where like
Yeah.
people would argue about Little Mix versus Fifth Harmony or like Fifth Harmony versus Little Mix versus 5 Seconds of Summer. You know 5 Seconds of Summer?
I know them.
Yeah. They were also awesome.
Dude,
Oh,
you're
I
kind
miss
of like them if you think about it.
True.
Yeah, that is me.
Yeah.
We could
That's
that should
me
be
as
your
well.
new like marketing technique, like your
Welcome
strategy.
back, 5 Seconds of Summer.
I feel like it's funny too, cause well, there is like this connotation as like in being like someone who lives in like the United States. There's like a connotation to anyone who's like has an accent. You know what I mean? And obviously, like to you, we have an accent, but like you guys have the accent. You know?
I just remember like being on like the internet in like when I was like 12, 13, 14, and I specifically was on like One Direction like fan accounts, like 5 Seconds of Summer and like all that, but like British people were like in like that was just like an insane like thing. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
they
no,
were
I
so in. We were so in.
yeah, you guys were like in like if someone was British, it was like, oh my god, like
We
it
kind
was
of
like
fumbled. We kind of fumbled.
yeah,
Low
you guys
key,
like
And we lost it.
Why do you think you lost it? Like it just like you guys fell off, like not as much talk about British people or like
Yeah, maybe. Well, who's like the British guy right now?
there's like really not anyone, I don't think.
there was like normal people, but that was
Irish.
Irish.
Yeah, different,
You know.
different country.
Oh, mezcal.
True.
Sorry.
I'm curious though of like if there was like were you like fans of like anyone that you were like interacting with like online, like did you ever like reach out to like 21 or like interact with like 21 Pilots or other like 21 Pilot fans or like just like other like
I had like a 21 Pilots YouTube channel.
That's
That's
awesome.
so awesome.
And only one person's been able to find it.
Is it still public? Like it's still out there?
Yeah, you can find it if you very carefully navigate through like the Lots of Hands channels.
Oh, that's really funny.
It leads back to badly drawn 21 Pilots videos.
What kind of videos were they?
They were like little animations.
Aw,
Aw, wait, that's cool.
yeah.
Thanks.
No, I feel like that's like the coolest thing you can probably do when you're like
Yeah.
16 or younger.
Yeah.
I don't know how
Yeah,
old you were when you were doing it, but
it could have been a lot worse.
I mean, it's just like cool to be that passionate about something. And I think about that a lot where it's like being like a fan of something is just like a really sweet thing because it's also just like a really specific part of like your world that you like build in your head.
No, I love being like a fan of stuff. Like I don't think I'll ever like not have that part in my brain of just like liking things a lot because it also is just like very human, I feel like to just like and also just like makes things fun, you know? Like to
Mhm.
just like something a lot and be super like invested in it.
I'm curious if you like feel that from the other side in having like a relatively successful like band. Like, do you feel like you're on the other side of that fan experience? Like, as in like people idolizing you or like idolizing your music?
I'm not too sure. I don't like check a lot of the DMs.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But maybe there's someone out there.
Like, do you get like a lot, like anyone really trying to interact with you, like in a way that like you've ever tried to interact with someone you listen to?
Oh yeah, we had a weird one the other day where someone like no like shade them whatsoever. But they posted being like, "Hey, I'm a 15-year-old artist. Can you everyone in the comments tag Lots of Hands to get me on a feature?" And I got
Whoa.
like 100 notifications on my phone of
Whoa.
people like tagging me, being like, "You need to make a song with this kid." I was like, "What the fuck, man?" I'm like, I am that kid. Like I'm tiny, man. Why are you talking to me like
Whoa.
I'm Taylor Swift, man?
Wait, that's so interesting. That I think it's also funny because like there's kind of a hard measurement now for kind of knowing, I don't know, like it's kind of difficult to know whether or not someone has a large fan base based off like just like how well they have done like music wise, like how many streams they have, like you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, like I still feel like very, very, very new to it.
Hmm.
So to have someone think that I'm not is like really, really strange.
Like I feel like everything's just like so like niche. Like there's just different pockets like everywhere, so it's hard to tell like if like how like I don't know like what does it even mean to like be like really big because it's like anyone I don't know. There's just like so many different pockets and like some people like can know someone really well and then like you can go to like another community and they have like no idea who that person is.
Hmm.
Yeah, definitely. And it's like we get so much of that just like being where we are. Because you'll have a band who's like without sounding rude, like very, very uh much smaller than us. But they'll be like headlining some festival around here just because everyone around here like fucks with them. It's like
Yeah.
really weird putting it into perspective that there's like that group like on the other side of the planet that fuck with my music. It's really
Hmm.
crazy.
Yeah. That
Um,
is weird.
That is weird too, because like it sounds like you don't exactly like see that like visually, like even like
no, not at
online.
all, not at all.
Yeah, that's so interesting. That's like such a weird experience too, because like you kind of don't like someone could be doing something and like making something like cool and like you could just like not know that there's all these people appreciating it because of the way the internet works now.
Yeah, I mean, Elliot was telling me about what was it? Some guy who like blew up in South Africa. I'm gonna text him about this.
Mhm.
Okay.
But some guy who like didn't know how big he was and just like came over to play a show in this one place and it was like filled, man. Like everyone there fucked with him and he had like no idea.
Especially just like there being this like thing somewhere else and like we can't really grasp how like big the world is sometimes in that way and like
Yeah.
where like things on the internet are reaching. Your music specifically is like it is like a thing that's like pretty like much like spread through the internet, and that's like besides like you playing shows like in like your area or like when you play shows somewhere else, like it's like so much like word of mouth, but a lot of that was sparked through the internet.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. And it's like a very, very new concept. So it's not like something it's not something that's like very easily like easy to navigate at the minute. Especially like putting it into perspective in the industry. It's like new.
I'm guessing not because I didn't really check, but like I'm guessing you're not like on like TikTok like music wise or like to like promote music.
Oh, we've got an account.
Okay.
I don't know if it's very good at promoting the music.
Like I'm just curious if you feel like your music has reached people like that way, like through like TikTok, because I know that's like such like kind of like a relevant way that like people like I think more so like numbers flood in from there, but you don't really see them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we had some crazy guy like get asked me to ring him the other day. And he like proposed so I had to give him $4,000 and he would get in contact with this like a certain amount of influencers who would make like sad edits that would go viral to my music and like make TikToks to my music. And I was like, what the fuck is going on, man? I didn't realize there was like a market for it. He sent me like examples and it was like, so we could use the bro, it's just a song format and then put your song on the other slide. And to do that with this many influencers, it'll be $4,000.
How did
That's
they get
insane.
contact with you?
They
Just
just like
dude.
shot me a DM.
That
Whoa.
is crazy. It is like insane because a lot of like music blowups now are manufactured, and I've like learned that like in the past few years of like
That was the moment where I kind of realized that.
yeah.
Because I found a couple songs from that format as well, man. Fuck me.
No,
Yeah, no, I
same.
have too. Like I feel like everyone has because it's just like it is like a different form of like word of mouth, but it's like really funny because like I feel like I started learning that because I like do digital marketing for like my job. So like doing that for like music stuff, like I started understanding that like do you know like the like trend of like do you listen to Girl in Red?
No.
It's like just this like viral like joke of like do you listen to Girl in Red? Like it's like means like oh like you're gay. But like it was like trend that was like super super like popular, and it's like a really like well-known joke, especially like I feel like in like indie pop, I guess, and that like was literally manufactured by a creative like manager.
Are you serious? I didn't know
Damn.
that.
Yeah, and it's so
Wow.
interesting because that's like a lot of things. But I was like working as like an intern for like a bigger like label, and um a lot of their like the like every viral thing you see, like even from like fan accounts, a lot of the time, like it's not a fan account, it's owned by a record label.
Yeah, that was the like crazy thing. That was the crazy part for me.
It's like they've weaponized fan accounts. Like that's so scary.
Yeah,
That's so sad. That's like the one thing we had left.
they've
Literally.
weaponized, bro. It's just a song, slideshows.
That's
That was
all we
all we
had.
had, man.
Yeah, no, even with like Spotify stuff, like yeah, like I always like I just think it's like so interesting how like the Spotify like year wrapped thing was like an idea from like an intern at Spotify, and like they just like completely took that like from the
Yeah,
intern. Like it was
I
like an
saw
intern's
that. I
like
saw that.
project like for like her internship, and I'm like, oh, like that's like crazy. I don't know. So that's kind of all the time we have, I think.
I love the way you say it.
I what I mean. I'm just like, oh,
You should just
so
hang up.
yeah,
You're like,
honestly.
bye.
So bye guys. But yeah, but we do have one last thing. So our podcast is known as the Internet is Dead podcast, but it's also the Josh Ovalle Please Be a Guest on My Podcast. I don't know if you know who like that is, or like Film Quaker.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah,
He's an internet guy.
yeah, he's like a Viner. He's like the like I'm Jared, 19, never learned how to read guy.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
That's all right.
It's okay. It's not
We just
important.
need you to
but,
do a
like,
job, okay?
Yeah. We just need you to say something. You don't
Sorry.
have to know. If you could just say like I state your name and then like any credentials that you have that might help. Hereby request Josh Ovalle for collaboration with the Internet is Dead
Josh
podcast.
Ovalle.
Ovalle, yeah. Please, Josh.
Ovalle. Are you
Yeah.
saying
Ovalle.
Ovalle. Josh Ovalle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got
Yeah.
it.
Aye, lots of hands. Creative Ugly Man Fun Plan hereby requests Joshua Ovalle for collaboration on the Internet is Dead podcast. Please, Josh, be a guest on the podcast. We miss you.
Thank you.
I do good.
Yeah.
I think that was really good.
I think that'll get him. I think that'll be the one.
I don't
Yeah,
think
we've
this
been-
guy exists.
He does.
He really does, I promise.
Have you shot him like an actual message?
No.